It all started when I received a message that sent my heart racing. Out of the blue, my ex-wife reached out after years of silence. It was a simple text. Can we talk? The memories flooded back, both the good and the bad. We had shared so much, but the heartbreak that led to our separation was still fresh in my mind. At first, I hesitated. Could I really open that door again? After all, our relationship had been a whirlwind of love, laughter, and ultimately pain. The arguments, the misunderstandings, and the tears had pushed us apart, and I had worked hard to move on. But as I stared at that message, I felt a mixture of hope and anxiety. After a few days of thinking it over, I decided to meet. We arranged to grab coffee at a cozy cafe, a place we used to visit together. When I walked in, my heart raced as I spotted her sitting by the window. She looked different yet familiar, a mix of nostalgia and longing washing over me. I never expected her to walk back into my life, after all these years. My ex-wife, the woman who once tore my heart into 1,000 pieces, suddenly appeared at my fan meet and greet last weekend. She looked different, older but still beautiful. Those same green eyes that once promised me forever now carried a hint of desperation. As I signed autographs, she waited, watching me with an intensity that made my fans whisper and wonder. When everyone left, she approached. "We need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. Years of unspoken pain hung between us. The arguments, the betrayal, the divorce that broke us both. She wanted back in, not as my wife, but as something. A connection, a chance, a redemption. Her recent life hadn't been kind. Failed relationships, career setbacks, loneliness eating her alive. And now, here she was, hoping I might be her lifeline. But could I trust her? Could I forget the tears, the fights, the trust she shattered years ago? My heart raced between anger and a strange lingering affection. One thing was certain, this unexpected return would change everything. Her unexpected appearance triggered a whirlwind of emotions. That night, after my fan event, we met at a quiet cafe, neutral ground, where secrets could breathe. "I've made mistakes," she whispered, her fingers nervously tracing the coffee cup's rim. I remembered our turbulent past, the arguments, the tears, the moment our marriage crumbled. She had left me when my career was just taking off, claiming I was becoming someone she didn't recognize. Now, ironically, she wanted back into my successful world. Why now? I asked, my voice sharp with years of unresolved pain. She revealed everything. Her struggling business, her recent personal losses, and a deep regret about leaving me when I needed support most. Her eyes glistened with genuine vulnerability. My fans didn't know this side of our story, the raw, unfiltered truth behind the perfect image we once presented. Every word she spoke was a knife cutting through our past, reopening old wounds. The biggest question hung in the air: could forgiveness be possible? Could two people who once loved and then destroyed each other find a way back? This was only the beginning of a story that would change everything. The cafe's dim light cast shadows across our table, mirroring the complexity of our history. My ex-wife leaned forward, her vulnerability a sharp contrast to her previous confidence. "I know I hurt you," she said, "but life hasn't been kind since our divorce." Her recent struggles emerged: a failed business venture, a broken relationship, financial challenges that stripped away her previous glamorous lifestyle. Each revelation felt like a carefully crafted plea for reconnection. I listened, my heart wrestling between remembered pain and a lingering compassion. My successful career, built after her departure, stood as silent testimony to my resilience. My fans saw me as strong, unbreakable. They didn't know the broken man I once was. "What do you really want?" I challenged, my voice carrying the weight of our complicated past. She reached across the table, her hand almost touching mine. A chance, not as your wife, but as someone who genuinely wants to make things right. The cafe's ambient music seemed to pause, waiting for my response. One decision could rewrite our entire narrative. The conversation started awkwardly. We exchanged pleasantries, reminiscing about the good times we shared. There was laughter, but beneath it lay an unspoken tension. I could see the hesitation in her eyes, as if she was scared to bring up the past. Eventually, she took a deep breath and opened up about her feelings. "I've missed you," she confessed, her voice trembling slightly. "I've thought about us a lot since we parted ways. It hasn't been easy for me." Hearing those words sent a rush of emotions through me. I had missed her too, but the pain of our breakup still lingered. I asked her what had changed since then. She told me that she had spent time reflecting on her life, realizing how much our relationship had meant to her. She admitted to making mistakes and wished she could turn back time. As we talked, I saw a glimpse of the woman I once loved, the one who made me laugh until my stomach hurt. But I also saw the scars from our past. The weight of unresolved feelings hung in the air. I had built a life for myself after the heartbreak, and now she was asking to step back in. The conversation became more intense. We discussed our struggles, our growth, and the lessons we learned while apart. I realized that both of us had changed, yet there was still that undeniable connection. She shared her hopes for the future, and I couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope ignite within me. But then came the moment that turned the tide. She reached across the table, her hand brushing against mine. "I want to try again. I want to be part of your life once more," she said, her eyes pleading for a chance. My heart raced. It was a bold declaration that made me both excited and terrified. In that moment, I had to decide. Could I forgive her? Could we build something new from the ashes of our past? My mind raced with all the memories, the laughter, the love, and the heartache. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but perhaps, just maybe, it was worth a shot. As we sat there, I felt a sense of clarity. The road ahead would be filled with challenges, but also with possibilities. I took a deep breath, looking into her eyes, and said, "Let's take it one step at a time." And so the journey began. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but the prospect of rebuilding our relationship filled me with a sense of hope. Perhaps this time, we could create a love that was stronger, deeper, and more resilient than before. Together we could face the future, hand in hand, and transform our story into something beautiful once more. As I left the cafe that day, I felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. The past was still there, but the future suddenly felt bright. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, I was ready to see where this path would lead us. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself navigating this new chapter with a blend of hope and caution. Each time we met, the bond between us seemed to grow stronger, yet the shadows of our past loomed over our interactions. We laughed about old memories and shared stories about our lives during the time apart. But underlying every conversation was the awareness that trust had to be rebuilt. We decided to take things slow, starting with casual outings, dinners, walks in the park, and movie nights. Each encounter brought back familiar feelings, but they also sparked new ones. I started to see her not just as my ex-wife, but as someone who had changed and grown. She was more introspective, more open about her emotions, and that intrigued me. One evening, as we strolled through the park, she stopped and turned to me, her expression serious. "I know it's a lot to ask, but I really want to be part of your life again. I've realized how important you are to me, and I'm ready to make things right," she said, her voice steady yet filled with vulnerability. My heart raced at her words. I could feel the sincerity in her eyes, but I couldn't ignore the lingering doubts. "I want that too," I replied. "But we need to address the issues that tore us apart before. It won't be easy." She nodded, acknowledging the truth of my words. I understand. And I'm willing to work through it all. I want us to have real conversations, to confront the hard stuff instead of sweeping it under the rug like we did before. That night marked a turning point in our relationship. We sat down together, sharing our fears and insecurities. We talked about the mistakes we made and how we could avoid repeating them. It felt cathartic to lay everything out on the table, and as we did, I realized how much I had missed this kind of honesty. As we continued to reconnect, we also began to create new memories. We explored new places together, tried new activities, and even took a weekend trip to the beach. Each experience brought us closer, and I could feel the walls I had built around my heart starting to crumble. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once. However, not every moment was filled with joy. There were times when the past resurfaced, moments of jealousy, insecurity, and fear. One night, during a seemingly perfect dinner, I noticed she was distracted, lost in thought. When I asked her what was wrong, she hesitated, then finally admitted. Her honesty pierced through the moment, and I felt a wave of empathy for her. I reached across the table, holding her hand firmly. I'm trying to forgive, but we both need to be patient with ourselves. I still care about you deeply, but it will take time to heal completely. That conversation became a turning point in our journey. We both acknowledged that while the road ahead would be challenging, we were committed to walking it together. It was a promise of mutual support and understanding, a vow to face the highs and lows as a team. I began to see glimmers of the future we could create together as time went on. The flame we once shared rekindled, and the laughter came back. But I also continued to be watchful since I knew that our road was still precarious. One day, while we were preparing dinner together, I noticed her smile. It was infectious, lighting up the kitchen. "I've been thinking about how far we've come," she said, stirring the pot on the stove. "It feels good, doesn't it?" I nodded, a grin spreading across my face. "It does. I never thought we'd be here again, but it feels like we're finally on the right path." But just as I started to feel secure in our new dynamic, a message popped up on my phone. It was from a friend who was unaware of our renewed relationship, and it brought news that made my heart sink. They mentioned seeing her with someone else. A casual mention, but it hit me hard. I tried to push the thought away, but the doubt crept in. That night, as we lay in bed together, I couldn't shake the feeling of insecurity. I turned to her, hesitating before I spoke. "I heard something today, and I just need to know, is there someone else?" Her expression shifted, and I could see the surprise and hurt in her eyes. "No, there's no one else. I've been focused on us. Why would you think that?" I explained the message, and she took a deep breath, reaching out to touch my face gently. "You need to trust me. I'm here because I want to be with you, not anyone else. Let's not let rumors tear us apart again." Her words calmed my racing heart, and I realized that I needed to let go of my fears. It was time to embrace the present and trust in the connection we were building. As the weeks continued to unfold, we both learned the importance of communication and vulnerability. The emotional roller coaster of rekindling our relationship brought us closer, teaching us how to support and uplift one another. I began to see my ex-wife not just as a part of my past, but as a significant part of my future. Together we were weaving a new story, one that was filled with hope, understanding, and a love that was growing stronger each day. With every shared moment, I felt more confident that we were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. After all, sometimes the most beautiful relationships are born from the ashes of the past, and ours was no exception. Together we were finally rewriting our story, determined to create a love that would last a lifetime. Thanks for watching.